Welcome to Channel X TV. I'm here at the NICE show today and I managed to call up Richard Bassett to talk to about customer service and AI. So welcome Richard, how are you?
Very good, Chris. Yeah, thanks for having me.
So just tell us a bit about yourself. Who are you and what do you do at NICE?
So I've been at NICE for about 18 months and I lead the digital, the analytics, the AI and the voice of the customer across our international business, so EMEA and APAC basically.
So you've just recently put out a report which got me all excited because it's a happiness index.
Yes.
And it's talking about how customers actually like AI because it makes their life better. How does AI make my life better?
So AI is going to make your life better. I mean, I'd like to think it's made life better for a long time. There's been bots, for example, which everyone thinks is what AI is. And some people have had some bad experiences with bots.
Put my hand up.
Yeah,
I hate them. I hate them.
Exactly. Many people have. And the reason is that people have been just sort of guessing how to go and build those bots. We've been doing things a lot better, a lot different, and using the data of existing interactions to go and build bots to understand how customers ask for it, but what your best agents are doing, the journeys and the paths to get things resolved. So no more guesswork, it's using your information of what humans have been doing to go and empower. But lots of people are focused also on the consumer side and haven't really thought about the agents or the colleague side of the business. What we're doing to make happier lives is actually empowering both the consumer and the employee using AI to give them the right information at the right time so they're empowered to go and have a better conversation.
So first of all, let's cut to the chase.
Sure.
There is a big difference between an AI and a chatbot, and I know too well what a chatbot does. It's a rules-based system. So when it's 8 o'clock at night and my order hasn't arrived, and I get a chatbot, and I say, my order hasn't arrived, when's it going to get here? And it says, here's a tracking number. I've already got the tracking number, I know it's not going to arrive today. I want to know where the hell it is, what's happened. How can AI make that sort of interaction better? And sort of, could it know it's this time of night, the courier's not going to deliver it now? Or will it know to put me through to an agent? Or will it say, it's obviously lost, we'll ship it again? What can AI actually do? Can it go that far as to, if it's an agent, they can sort of give me a resolution saying, God, I'm so sorry, the tracking is just lost, we'll send you another. Can AI just order me another one?
So there's multiple ways to answer that question, Chris. So first of all, if you've got any integrations into the systems, which we enable, we're very open as a platform, then the AI can understand it's Chris and that you have got an order coming and whereabouts it is versus you having to go manually through another website and go and check where it is in the current place. With that, it then can make a decision to go and either order another one, give an update, apologise it's coming tomorrow, or it can make a decision with a fallback over to a human agent. And that is the key, is there's so many bots in the world that don't have the ability to understand the intent and to understand the sentiment of that customer. If you're angry and you're having a bad experience, we need to understand it, the bot needs to understand it, so it does go through to a human. That's the right thing to do, so that actually that empathy can be there to go and make sure that it is resolved, you're a happy customer, because in retail, in that example, you want to have a lifetime value with a great happy customer.
So a lot of times, as a customer, businesses will throw money at me to try and solve the problem. They'll like give me a 10% off voucher or a £25 voucher or a 50 quid voucher, or 10% off my order refund. They'll try and throw money at the problem to make me happy. And to be honest, if I'm buying for business, I'm putting on expenses, so the money really doesn't matter to me because I'm not paying the bill anyway. What can AI do to make me happy though? Because a lot of people, money off does the trick. Kind of, okay, it's been a bit of a crappy experience, but they give me some money to try and make it better. Can AI actually give me more happiness than that?
Then money off. For me personally and some of the customers I speak to, giving the 5% off for your next purchase, maybe you don't want to make another purchase in the near future.
Depends on a bad experience.
Yeah, exactly. But people just actually want a good experience, and that's really where AI needs to step up, and we're really working hard with retailers and other verticals to allow AI to do so. So as I said before, it's making sure that when you do have an interaction with a bot, whether it's a voice bot or a digital bot, that it does get that resolution or it hands over to a human. When the humans are having that conversation, they can see all of the history of what's happened in that automation beforehand and what the journey and the breadcrumbs were beforehand. It then also understands the conversation, and we have something called Copilot, which is basically assisting the agents And that co-pilot's basically understanding what that intent was and it's making recommendations or prioritising what should be the next conversation that the agent's having. What that means, you get better resolutions, you get lower handling time because you don't want to spend your evening on the phone or in a chat bot. You want to get it through as quickly as possible and resolved. But then again, what we've also got is the understanding, we call it empower, which is the continuous understanding of every interaction that's happened. So if you have had a bit of a negative experience this time, Chris, when you come back a week, a month, a year later, we understand that, and you did have a bit of a negative experience, so we'll prioritise you in the next experience you have. We'll understand your persona, the right channel, but we've got that whole history of all the experiences you had before.
And talking of channels, that was the next thing I wanted to come on to, because it used to be really easy. You'd get a letter through the post or a phone call, but then we got email, then we got text messages, then we got, I'll just complain on Twitter or Facebook, or maybe I'll DM you if I'm feeling in a good mood, and if I'm not, I'll just broadcast to the world. And then we got WhatsApp, which is another. How does the agent handle all of this? And can the AI realise that I phoned in yesterday and said, where's my order, and now send you a WhatsApp message saying it still hasn't arrived? Can it tie those together for the agent?
And actually that's one of the great things that we have. So we have CX1, it's a platform. And if you turn the clocks back 10 years ago, there were many organisations that had point solutions and nothing spoke to each other. And actually in today's world, people still have those point solutions. We call it the Frankenstack. So you've got somebody over here, somebody over there, and nothing's really integrated. And to your point, it's all in silos, and it's all being coupled together in some way, shape or form, or not at all. What we've done from NICE is we've got a single platform. It means you can bring your voice, your digital channels, and everything into one place. And the agents have that unified inbox. So whether it's a telephone call, whether it's an email, whether it's a WhatsApp, they've got that experience, and we know what those previous conversations were. So we have that profile of the customer, and we can tightly knit it together.
So I'm liking what I hear, especially from a customer point of view, that there's nothing worse than a chatbot saying, I want to speak to a human, and the chatbot says, don't understand the question. So I'm getting through to a human, and I'll be honest, if I've got to speak to a human, I'm probably really irate by this time, because I've been through sort of, got my tracking number and looked for it and it's not arrived, and I chased out, now I've actually got to speak to you. So the agent's on the back foot. How can you make the agents happy when they've got to deal with people like me all day? And honestly, some CX I know is the nice side, which is maybe the pre-sales side, but there are those poor people that all they get is customer complaints all day. How do you make their lives better?
Yeah, and it's a real tough one because there's about 34% attrition in the contact centres in the UK, and the reason that is because it's a high stress role, and I feel sorry for people on the front line, and that's really where we want to make lives easier for consumers and easier for the employees who take those conversations as well. So number one is we want the automation from a digital point of view to be as seamless as possible. So it's as if they are speaking to a human in the first instance because they're getting that human-like experience. It's conversational. It's being built on AI, as I mentioned before, which is taking all of your interactions from voice or from digital, understanding how people ask, then what the best agents paths are to get them resolved. So ideally that will take a big bulk of interactions and handle it in the way you need it without any hold time whatsoever in whatever choice of channel of choice you want to, Chris. Now, if for whatever reason that what can't handle the conversation, it's then going to the agent itself, and that agent needs to have empowerment, which is with our co-pilot and other tooling, to make sure they've got the right information. They've also got a supervisor who's using AI to understand those conversations. And it can understand, the supervisor can see the sentiment of every single interaction, and what we're doing, we're proactively making supervisors aware of when a conversation is going a little bit irate. So Chris, maybe that new agent in the contact centre is not the right person to be dealing with you when you have been a little bit upset.
I've got to admit, it's not always that I'm upset, but nothing drives me madder than getting through to someone and then just not having the power to make it right, whether it's like, look, we'll just give you a full refund and return it, or whether it be we'll send you a replacement. It's almost like that I've got to someone that they say, oh, you need to speak to my supervisor, but they're on the phone, or they're in a meeting, or you'll have to call back, or I'll get them to call you back, and then they're never doing it, calling back again.
Yeah, it's a challenge, and yeah.
Can AI sort of see that conversation going on and get the supervisor to jump on the call before it gets to the irate stage?
So our co-pilot I was mentioning, it's co-pilot for the agents and it's also co-pilot for the supervisors as well. So rather than having to go through and manually, guess which conversation to be listening into or watching over, the AI is looking through every single conversation. It can see, I've got an irate customer over here, it's Chris, therefore I'm going to jump into that conversation and support the agent before the agent even comes and raises their flag. That means that the supervisor can give that 5% discount that through delivery or accelerated next day delivery if that's really what you need, but they're empowered at that point. So that's what the AI is doing. It's not just helping the employees and the customers, the supervisors as well.
So 35% attrition rate for CX workers. Can we get that rate down? Because that's massive. There aren't many industries that are losing 35% of the workforce all the time. I mean, can we get it down to sensible levels by making their lives easier and more pleasant?
We're seeing that already actually. So 34% is what you have in the voice world traditionally. We're seeing it in single digits from the digital world already. Because the voice is where people have had 20 minutes, they're on hold, then they might go through to an agent, and that poor agent is on the firing line at that.
But the worst one, they've got cut off and they have to ring it again.
Exactly. So we want to automate and make the IVR more conversational, to take away the ordinary, the FAQ conversation, so that more conversations go through quicker and can be resolved, and therefore the agent is doing the extraordinary, the high value things as well. But we are seeing already that we're shifting more people to digital channels as their preferences, where they speak to their friends and family, and therefore the retention is much higher than what it was in that 34% attrition.
So this has been pretty fascinating to talk about, but for those companies that are perhaps in the days of 35% attrition and all they're getting is complaints all day, where in the business should we be looking to get started? Is this a board level decision? Is it a CX manager that should be initiating the conversation? Where do we initiate the conversation with a company to start thinking about getting a better system, a more cohesive system, getting our channels joined up and using AI?
Yeah, so we and our partners, so we work with partners and we work with some customers directly. It's all about understanding the type of the business you are and where you are in your maturity model right now. Some customers at the very start, they are archaic, and that's okay. They want to do something about it. Others are quite mature, they're just doing things a little bit in the wrong way. Now we've got a platform, as I mentioned, that does a whole host of things, but I don't want to say to a company, it's going to, I'm going to bombard you with everything on day one. So we want to have the roadmap of how you crawl, walk, run to get to that success, that North Star of where you want to go to. So maybe that is a bot, maybe it's knowledge management, which we're seeing super powerful. At Interactions, there's been one of our biggest keynote conversations, is if you get your knowledge right, and that drives a self-service, your automation can leverage that knowledge, and your agents can also use that knowledge, all in a conversational, generative way as well. So depending on the organisation, there is the consultancy that we offer. We don't charge for it, our partners offer it, because we want to go and understand what the customer's requirements are, what their customers need, and then we can make recommendations on whether it's a bot, whether it's knowledge management, or something completely different.
So I think the two big takeaways here are that the number one customer, which is me, the customer, if it's either as a consumer or a business buyer, that I want to be happy. But I hadn't quite thought about sort of making the customer service reps happy as well and making their lives easier. I'm always aware when I ring up that they have a tough life. So I think anything that just the retention rates getting down to single digit, that speaks volumes.
Yeah, I think if we can work with the retention, if we can work on making sure that the handling time for those agents is lower, not just because it's the KPI for the business, but also we want to give you the time back. If we can reduce the hold times that customers have to get through, because we're making self-service easier. 81% of people who call up have started from digital. So if we can make digital lives easier, then people don't have to call, don't have the hold times. So it's that circle that we need to work through, and if we can get that right, then it's going to be a great, happy experience, customers, for the agents, and for everyone in between.
Richard, it's been fascinating. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Chris. Appreciate it.